Hello Satnam, it's me Shakti Sundari, and I'm back with you today for the next reading from the Radiance Sutras. I'm so happy because I'm sitting in the park and the sun is strong and bright. Actually, it's just gone behind a cloud. It was super hot and bright a minute ago. The sky is pretty much all blue. I'm sitting on the grass. There's trees around me, a little rustle of the breeze in the trees, pollen floating in the air. I'm just going to show you how it is where I am. Sun's coming back out. I'm just sitting in the grass here. And just look at the sky. It's so beautiful and blue and bright. I love that sky, it makes me really happy. And I was just reflecting how ironic it is that the day my former beloved is on a plane back to Australia, the weather goes sunny again. It's been so miserable for the last month when I've been feeling miserable, and now it's sunny again. I'm enjoying being in my flow so much, and being back in myself, you know, like through everything that's been going on. People have been, a few people, not many actually, but there's been like a few suggestions from a few people that because I felt so upset and bereft that there is a neediness there. And of course I don't really see it as that. I feel it's as a great loss, because what I recognize when I'm by myself is that I love being with me. I love my own company. I love being alone. I love being in my flow. I love being in that feeling of connection with the divine. And it's very easy for me to be in this harmonious space by myself. And what that then just brought up for me as I sat down here was that, this is how I want to feel when I'm with my beloved, is such inner peace, such inner harmony, such tranquility, such bliss, such joy, such ease. You know, it's easy being with me and being with my beloved, my inner beloved. It's easy. In the flow, things just happen so easily, you know. I was hungry, so I thought, I want something that's chocolate and I want something that's healthy. And I walked into a Marks and Spencer's petrol station looking for something that's chocolate and healthy. And I found these amazing biscuits that are gluten and dairy free, no refined sugar, organic source of fiber, made by yogis in Switzerland, which was exactly what I wanted. And then I had only £1.60 left in my purse, and I thought, I want a green tea to go with my biscuits, and walked into the park. There was a big queue at the cafe, so I just walked away from the queue and walked down to another very small little animal station where there's like these small animals that kids can go and see. And I just walked in and I said, I've only got £1.60, if you've got any green tea. And she said, yeah, tea's only £1 in here. And of course at the other cafe, where it would have cost more than £2, there was a massive queue. So that's how life flows, when we just trust and follow where the body wants to go and where the energy wants to flow naturally. So I have my tea and I have my biscuits. I have my sunshine, and it feels great. It's a bit of a long introduction. Oh well. Yukti verse 78 we're on today. And actually, yeah, there is something more I wanted to read today before I read the Yukti verse. This is, after the Yuktis, there are some more verses which they're called insight verses, so we'll get onto those at the end of these. But here, the author of the Radiance Sutras, Lauren Roche, gives some really, so valuable. He studied these sutras for many, many years, you know, spoken them out loud, meditated upon them for years, written them, understood the Sanskrit. So, you know, he's a deep scholar and practitioner and embodied living, he lives them. So I just want to read you this. So the Radiance Sutras are a translation, right, of one of the most ancient tantric texts. And here's what he says. The Vijnana Bhairava Tantra offers 112 meditation practices, each one an invitation to come in and be at home in yourself and in the universe. The practices are presented in verses made up of 4 to 10 Sanskrit words. That's all. And every individual word is a tool of thought, a mantra. In the meditation traditions, a transmission is an electric realization, an aha moment. And the bird just, yeah, did you hear that? The bird just went, wah. Often you are reminded of something you already know and love. You recognize a truth and your life force is awakened. So I know that so well as I've been reading these sutras and giving my transmission and my interpretation every time. The truth of them has awakened something in me, most definitely. And he goes on, in any given sutra, every Sanskrit word offers myriad opportunities to receive a transmission because Sanskrit is engineered so that each word is often made up of 5 or 10 images, each circling around a nucleus, a tiny thought. Amazing, huh? In the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, one of the words for a practice or meditation technique is Yukti, a variation on the word yoga. Yukti has the sense of joining together the essential elements at the right time and place, and also practice, skill, craft, workmanship, and art. As we practice meditation, we want to be continually refining our craft, becoming more skillful in joining up all the essential elements of our own inner riches so that we can thrive in the outer world. So this is really brilliant additional wisdom and information for making a practice of these verses. And I also just want to add something to that, which is that this morning I had a email newsletter from William Bloom, who is a well-known spiritual teacher. And in this message he speaks about the importance of the discipline of a spiritual practice. And I know that is a word that people often don't like to hear, me included. And I've always struggled with discipline in some ways. And yet, if we really want to live life in a beautiful way, in a spiritual way, having that sense of connection and empowerment and truth and flow and ease between that infinite and the finite, and living in the real world as a spiritual person, then I absolutely see, and William Bloom underscored this in his newsletter today, the value, the importance of a discipline to be dedicated to, I don't know if he specifies daily, but I would say daily spiritual practice. So finding whatever it is that allows you to have that connection every day as your source. And as I've been reflecting on my own relationship and what's just been going down for me, I recognize that to a certain extent I began to forget my spiritual practice on a daily basis and put more reliance on the relationship as my source, which is never a good thing. Not 100% of course, but a little bit of that crept in, and I can see how that was not helpful in our dynamic. So having that connection, that alignment with source within our own being always as our primary relationship, as our nurture, as our sense of fulfillment, love and wholeness is so vital. And I'm just speaking that to myself as well as to anyone who's watching. Okay, so a bit of a long preamble, sorry guys, but I hope that's interesting or useful to you. So, Yukti verse 78. Here is the Sanskrit. Kama, krada, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, gochare. Buddhim nistimitam kritva tat tatvam avashishyate. Reading it again. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, Gochare. Buddhim nistmitam kritva tatvam avashishyate. Love the sound so much. And then here's the English. It's long today and it's powerful, so listen with your whole being. Desire, lust, longing, anger humming in your blood, confusion, jealousy, bewilderment swirling in your head. Catch the first hint as passion rises, the first quickening heartbeat. Embrace that vibrancy with a mind vast as the sky. Witness the elemental motion of emotion. Fire burning, illuminating, water gushing, cleansing, air inspiring, soothing, earth supporting, holding, space expanding, embracing. You are in the temple of desire. Go deeper still and rest in essence. Awake to infinite spiritual energy surging into form. Wow. There's so much richness in this Yukti verse and in this translation, you know. It's just, I feel abundant, I feel full just having read those words. And there is a practice in this, hidden in those words. You might not have caught it if you've really been listening, because there's just so much, right? There's just so much in each and every word. You know, he's done such a wonderful job with this translation to capture that same essence of the Sanskrit in that every word or combination of words is a transmission that conveys a truth that quickens our energy and stirs us to awakening. So here's, let's go through it. Okay. Desire, lust, longing. All those things that, you know, a certain group of people tend to judge. Maybe we judge ourselves. Desire, lust, longing. Anger, another thing, another emotion we would tend to judge, right? Humming in your blood. Confusion, jealousy, bewilderment swirling in your head. And the wonderful thing is, I know all of these emotions so intimately in my own being, and yeah, definitely in my last month of tumultuousness that's been going on in my personal relationship, you know. Desire and lust on my side, probably not, in terms of sexual anyway, no. Desire for intimacy, absolutely. Longing to be reunited and to feel that intimacy, absolutely. Anger, oh God, I have been furious. I have been ferociously furious. Confusion, yep. Jealousy, little bit, yeah. Actually, yeah, let's be honest, yeah. Bewilderment, absolutely. Swirling in your head, oh my God, it's overwhelming. And I feel things really deeply. I'm a woman and I feel deeply, and also just because of my configuration astrologically, family-wise, I feel very, very, very deeply. That's what we women do. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing to feel. I've had to learn that to really understand that my deeply feeling nature is a gift. Even though society and patriarchy wants to judge emotions, you know, we will only become whole as beings and as a society when the value and power of emotions is truly honored and accepted. It's just so important. I'll come on to that again in a minute. So all of those really powerful emotions, right? We tend to judge them, society tends to judge them, want to stamp them down, repress them, think it's wrong, all of this stuff. But here's the practice that goes with these. Catch the first hint. The first hint as passion rises. Now this is, this is the challenge, because the first hint is like trace it back to where it starts and when it starts. And to catch ourselves in that moment, wow, that could take a lifetime of discernment and self-awareness. Self-awareness, 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 self-awareness. Not blaming the external world or the other for what is going on within our own experience, because whatever is happening in us is only about us. So catching the first hint of it. As passion rises, so then all of these emotions are defined under passion. And passion, suddenly, like in my mind, oh, that's a good thing. Passion is a good thing, right? Suddenly it doesn't feel negative anymore. But really, passion is just another word for life force, energy, without which we're dead and lifeless. And we need to be tapped into that energy to awaken and to truly express ourselves in truth in the world. That's the whole point. So, catch the first hint as passion rises, the first quickening heartbeat. Wow, if we could really catch ourselves at that moment, how amazing. Embrace, so just like feeling into that before it goes beyond, before it gets expressed outwards, before it becomes a lashing out at somebody. But actually, from my own belief, there is absolutely nothing wrong with expressing intense, fiery, full emotion of any kind. There is a need, in my opinion, for an awareness of what happens as we, awareness in terms of where we direct it, but safely expressing any of these emotions is, in my opinion, healthy. Repressing them is not. Catch the first hint as passion rises, the first quickening heartbeat. Embrace that vibrancy with a mind vast as the sky. Woo! That's where masculine meets feminine, guys. The mind vast as the sky is the ultimate higher divine masculine, higher consciousness, cosmic consciousness, universal mind, call it what you want to, God consciousness, is the divine masculine, the consciousness that embraces all of life. And the energy, the passion, the fire is the divine feminine, expressing herself in life through us. And when they meet, that's the making love. That's the divine union that we're all seeking, what I'm seeking, and that I love to bask in. So what this is saying is there's nothing wrong with any of these emotions. There's no need to stop them or repress them. But we become aware. So we bring that quality of awareness to notice when that surge of energy comes in. And we meet it with our awareness, with our consciousness. We embrace it. This is the art. This is the art of Tantra. This is the art of yoga. This is the art of awakening. Witness the elemental motion. Those two words are written in, what's that called when they're slanted forward? I can't think for a moment what that's called. What's it called when words are slanted forward? Anyway, they're highlighted. Elemental motion of emotion. So then the emotions are likened to the 5 elements. This is part of yoga. We work with an awareness of our body, our emotions, our thoughts, our beings as expressions of the 5 elements in nature. And, even on this level, we can look at how compatible we are with certain food types, with certain forms of exercise, and with certain people in relationship. So, the elemental motion of emotion, fire burning, illuminating, water gushing, cleansing, air inspiring, soothing, earth supporting, holding, and then space expanding, embracing. You are in the temple of desire. Your body is the temple of desire. You are in the temple of desire. Your body, but then in a wider sense, the world. Go deeper still. And, yeah, you know, go deeper still. So often we want to stay on the surface. Again, I'm speaking to myself as well as anyone who's watching this. Go deeper still. What's beneath that? What's beneath that, and what's beneath that? It takes courage, it takes awareness, it takes discipline, it takes will sometimes to be able to go deeper still, to really face what is beneath. And rest. When we get through all those layers of feeling and emotion and commotion, go deeper still and rest in essence. There we are, at the very bottom of it all is simply the essence of our being, awake to infinite spiritual energy, surging into form. Infinite spiritual energy is passion, is kundalini, is life force, is Shakti, is the force of creativity flowing through our beings, expressing. So there's nothing in the world actually that is wrong, bad, dirty, nasty. You know, these polarities that we create, it is all ultimately an expression of life, which is simply love. Oh, that's right. I wanted to... Can you feel that though? Can you feel that infinite spiritual energy in your own being as you taste, savor, feel, receive these words and this transmission? I feel it. It's enlivened me completely. I feel full of it now. There was something I wanted to come back to about emotion, because this has been really important for me again in my last relationship, you know, where I felt my emotions were not being honored, and as a priestess and as a embodiment of the divine feminine and someone who feels, I feel that my path and my calling is so much to embody the divine feminine and heal the wounds of separation from the divine masculine. So it's very important for me to honor my emotions. They were not honored when I was young, and that caused so much wounding for me. And to model for everyone that emotions are healthy, important and vital. And in a way to be a defender of the feminine and a defender of the honoring of the emotions. Men and women really need to get this, you know, that our emotions are actually a gateway to the divine. When we allow ourselves to feel them fully, they're a gateway to our healing and integration. There's a couple of amazing books by a channel who channels Mary Magdalene and Yeshua. Her name is Mercedes Kirkel, Kirkel. 2 books about Magdalene, with whom I connect and identify, well actually Magdalene and Yeshua. And she speaks so much about the need at this time for us to reconnect with our emotions, men and women both, in order for us to rise up into the heart-centered consciousness that we're moving into at this time. It's so vital for the planet, for ourselves, for our society, for the globe, for all dimensions of being, to honor and feel and allow and embrace our emotions as gateways. So when something comes up that feels like a difficult emotion, the key is to feel it fully, to allow all sensations in the physical body, and then at a certain point to inquire, what is that emotion telling me about the divine quality I am missing, longing for, or wishing to call in my life? So we just use it as a tool for self-understanding and self-awareness, and then we flip it around to find what it is we're longing for, so that the emotion that we're feeling is a key to that. It's a key to our wholeness. It's a key to our reconnection with the divine. This is so important. If you have any questions about that, please post below or message me on Facebook, or go via my website www.shaktisundari.com. I know this has been a really long one, Just that's how it came out. Thank you so much for being with me, and much love, much joy. Have a beautiful day. Sat Nam, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow.